as I said before, we're going to look at teaching methods for practical learning in the ESOL classroom. We're going to look at 3 methods today. The first one is total physical response, natural approach, and task-based learning. There are many different methods that you can use in the ESOL classroom, but we're going to focus on 3 during our class today. Okay. So first, we need to discuss why these methods are important. So why are these methods important? They make learning active and engaging. They support real-life communication skills. They reduce learner stress and boost confidence. They cater to different learning styles, and it helps our learners improve comprehension and retention. Okay. So as I said, the 3 methods are total physical response, the natural approach, and task-based learning. Okay, total physical response. We're going to look at how we can implement or what this method is about. Okay, so the first one is it links language with physical movement. So with TPR, we usually say TPR instead of total physical response. We're using our body, okay, as a way of learning. It's based on how children learn their first language. It focuses on listening before speaking. This is ideal. It's good for beginners and young learners. So I use this method a lot working with preschool students, so about 3, 4, 5 years old. It works really well with young learners. Okay. Oh, we went back here. Sorry. Okay. And my final point was that it reduces anxiety, increases engagement with students. So it makes students feel confident, and it decreases anxiety for students. Okay. What are different activities we can do in the classroom, okay, for using this method? We can use action commands like stand up. So if I have a group of students, maybe young learners, I can say stand up, and they stand up. Touch your nose. Simon says, so this game, Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, touch your head. So you can use these kinds of activities to incorporate physical movement, to incorporate this method of teaching. And what it does is it makes a connection in the student's brain. Okay, so if I touch my nose, right? So I'm making the mind-body connection. Also, storytelling. So I could read a book to my students, and I can use a lot of gestures and movement. We can use songs and chants with actions, and we can act out classroom routines or daily activities. So I could do something like, I could have a group of students and I could say, brush your teeth, and they brush their teeth. Brush your hair. So that's what TPR is all about, using our bodies and movement to make the mind-body connection. Okay. Okay, right now I'm going to show you all a video of an example of what total response is. Okay, so we're going to see an example right now. Oh, I hear someone's microphone on. Okay.
What I had to do, Ms. Nunes, is muting everybody. I forgot to do that. As usually, there are some attendees who have their microphones on, but I just did it so nobody can now interrupt your process. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I think you can hear me now. So I'm going to show
Yes.
the example. Yes. I'm going to show the example of total physical response in the classroom. So we're going to see it in action with this video. Okay, I'm going to play it.
TPR, total physical response. And the procedure is easy. Teacher gives example with commands. Teacher does the action 2, slowly get faster. Slowly, the teacher gives less examples, and the kids do it on their own. So, you ready, guys? Fast. Stand up. Sit down. Excellent. Stand up. Sit down. Raise your hand. Hands down. Stand up. Sit down. Raise your hand. Hands down. Fold your arms. Raise your hand. Hands down. Stand up. Sit down. Fold your arms. Raise your hand. Hands down. Read a book. Close the book. Read a book. Close the book. Stand up. Sit down. Raise your hand. Faster. Sit down. Hands down. I got it wrong. Stand up. Sit down. Raise your hand. Hands down. Read a book. Close the book. Raise your hand. Hands down. Drink.
Okay, so I think you all understand the idea. So this is a really fun activity to do with kids because you can start the activity really slow and then you could go faster. So it makes the kids do the actions really fast and they really laugh and they enjoy it a lot. So this is total physical response. I am now going to move on to the next method. Okay, sorry, before I move on to the next method, I would like you guys to put in the chat if you can think of more potential TPR, total physical response activities that you can do in the classroom. So try to think of more examples if you can put in the chat or if you want to raise your hand and speak, that would be even better if you can think of some ideas.
Sisters, this
You
is
see,
an
anyone?
invitation from the presenter. If you can think of any other types of TPR activities, total physical response, you may put your comments in the chat box, or if you prefer, you may also raise your hand and voice your comment publicly. So it is your time now to get involved, please.
Yes, please. Someone's raising their hand. Oh, Shokyu. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Maybe if they put it like in the card, like the words, and you put it in the classroom, and then you play like hide and seek. So so they know the classroom and they laugh because it is their place. So
okay.
like
Okay.
activity, and they put it after that on the board.
On the board. Okay. You mean
Yeah.
a card with the action or the word?
Yes, yes, to
Okay.
memorize it.
Okay. Yes, yes. That's a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Shokyu, for sharing with us. Thank you. Anyone else? I'll give 1 minute, and if not, I will move on.
There is one comment in the chat box from Doreen Olahide.
Okay.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
That's a good
Head,
one.
shoulders, knees, and toes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a great activity. Okay, awesome. So I think that's enough for this method, and now I will move on to the next one. We're going to look at natural approach. So this was developed by Stephen Krashen and Tracy Terrell. It emphasizes understanding before speaking. Language is learned in meaningful real-life contexts. It focuses on low stress, comfortable environments, and it prioritizes communication over grammar accuracy. So as a teacher, when I use this approach with my students, I use it a lot online. We talk about real life, real situations, and I'm not correcting my students every moment because sometimes this can make the learner feel nervous or overwhelmed. So sometimes this can be a better approach for some learners, and it encourages a lot of listening and reading. So they're receiving a lot of comprehension. And yeah, this is the natural approach. So now we're going to look at some classroom activities. Okay, so storytelling with visuals, pictures, props, and gestures, okay? So imagine I'm telling a story, I'm showing a lot of different visuals to my students, but they're not really speaking a lot, okay, in this moment. They're really listening and receiving the information and you know, processing the information in their head. Listening to dialogue, songs, or short videos. Using real life objects to build vocabulary. Okay, so that would be like I use my phone, or I use a pencil, or I use a ball. Picture-based discussions. What's happening? What do you see? So I do this a lot with my students where sometimes, yeah, maybe I'm telling a story and I say, what's happening in this picture? What do you think is happening? So it's more of a natural conversation. Sometimes this approach is better for intermediate learners, okay? So with really, really young learners, you can use it, but I think the TPR method is better for that. So you have a silent period when you use this method. You allow learners to listen without the pressure to speak. And then you use a lot of repetition, a lot of repetition with this method. Okay, so now we're going to look at it in action. Okay. Okay, so this is a natural approach.
Morning, students. Okay, we are going to practice little activities with the ball. Yes, we're going to learn so many actions to use while playing. For example, this is the ball, and now I'm going to shake the ball. Everybody, please shake. Yes. Move from one side to another. That means shake. Yes. Now I am going to throw the ball. Everybody, please throw. Okay. I'm going to throw the ball, and Angel is going to catch it. Okay, Angel? Ready? Catch it. Excellent. Now please throw the ball to Ulises. Ulises, please catch it. Excellent. Ulises now throws the ball to Dulce. Back to me, please. Throw the ball, and I'm going to catch it. Excellent. Now I am going.
So we can see in this video that maybe the students did not know the meaning of throw or catch, but now they have learned because the teacher has modeled, which is very important in ESOL teaching, well, in teaching in general, that the teacher has modeled this for the students. He said, okay, I'm going to throw the ball. So now the students go, oh, this means throw. Oh, this means catch. So we can see that that's happening in this video. A little bit more.
Going to pass the ball. Pass the ball. Yes.
Pass.
I am going to pass the ball to you. Thank you. Please pass the ball to him. Pass the ball to her. Pass the ball to him. Throw the ball to me. Catch the ball, please. Pass it to him.
Okay, great. So that is the natural approach. Can you think of any other ways? Can you think of more natural approach activities? So we're going to do the same thing we did before. Can you think of more natural approach activities in the classroom? You can answer in the chat or you can raise your hand. Other ways we can naturally connect with students, English language learners in the classroom.
This is another invitation for you, ladies and gentlemen, to think of other modalities or examples of natural approach, learning, teaching, activities. So go ahead and Steve Talpi wrote down basketball in the chat box. Anything else that you may think of, playing badminton, whatever hits your mind at this time, brothers and sisters, and go ahead, please share that with the group, with the class, and Miss Rachel would be very happy to see your close involvement. So go ahead. Either speaking live or jotting down in the chat box whatever you think. And we have
Sure.
Show again. Go ahead, Show.
Again. Yeah.
Or maybe the rope. They just like two teams. You divide the class to two teams, and they pull the rope to their side, and they pull the rope to the other side, so they know how to move.
Tug of war. That's the name of it.
Yes.
Tug of war.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
When you have
This-
students. Yeah, exactly. So we can see natural approaches really it's like how you learned a language when you were a child, right? So that it's a really effective method. I use it with my students as well. Olive, I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly.
Olive, go ahead, please. We're
Olive?
listening to you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I wasn't really sure that I was going to attend the class, but when I see this and from the previous intervention of my colleague who just spoke, how about we do chess?
Chess.
Yes, the chess game.
Chess. Yes, yes. That could be effective as well. Chess. Yes. Thank you for sharing.
You
Someone else
I'll
raised their
again,
hand. More. I can't see the chat, so
Let know if anyone has a microphone on again.
I muted. I saw.
All right.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So yes, chess, really basketball, any sports, natural ways to get students to learn. And there's some more comments in the chat. I can't see. Let me see.
Doreen Olahide just think we could ask children to fill basket with balls of matching colors, for example,
Yeah.
blue balls in blue baskets and so forth and so on. It's a good example as well.
Yeah. Pictionary. Pictionary could be an example. Yes. Janelle said Pictionary, soccer, swimming, coaching. Yeah, all natural ways. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to continue then to method number 3. Okay, method number 3 is definitely for more advanced learners. We mean intermediate advanced learners, okay? These students already have a base of vocabulary. They already have, a general understanding of English. So this is not a method you can do with beginners. You can try, but it will be a bit difficult. So definitely for intermediate advanced learners. This focuses on using language to complete real world tasks. Okay, communication is the main goal, not grammar. So we're not focusing on grammar really in with any of these methods. Language is learned through doing and learned by using. So it encourages collaboration. So students work a lot in groups with this method. They work on problem solving. And this follows a structure. So you have a pre-task, a task, and then a post-task after. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of task-based learning in the classroom. Role plays, so ordering food or job interviews. So That would be one example. Planning a trip or event in small groups. So remember, real life things that they have to do. Problem solving tasks. So budget a party, fix a schedule conflict. Information gap activities. Classroom surveys with real questions and reporting results. And project-based tasks. So creating a brochure or a video, for example. So this one I did with students, I had them create a brochure. So for example, I told my students, I did this with more intermediate students. I said, okay, I would like you to create a brochure. Imagine that you are, want to visit a city. So pick your favorite city. And I had them create a brochure related to their favorite city, and the results were really, really amazing. So it also gives you the opportunity to see your students' writing skills. So task-based learning, also you can incorporate writing, and it gives you a chance to see how they are doing with their writing skills. So it's also great. Also, I did another activity with my students, which was a food menu. So I had them all create a name for their own restaurants, and then I had them put the title on the page of their restaurant on the menu, and then inside each food item. So breakfast menu, I don't know, lunch menu, their drinks on the menu. And then I actually had them do a role play. So I had my students get in groups, and then I had someone play like they were a server or a waiter and order from their menu. So these are all really great activities. Someone is in the chat. Okay. Okay. So perfect. Okay. So let's see more about task-based learning with this video.
This video has been adapted from an English Teaching Forum article written by Mina Gavel as part of a series celebrating the English Teaching Forum's 60th anniversary.
Livening up reading classes is challenging for even seasoned English language teachers. Reading itself is a quiet and solo task that requires lots of practice. A solution for this challenge combines the use of authentic materials, task-based learning, and stations. This video discusses an activity that teaches reading skills in an interactive way that can easily be adapted for a variety of needs, levels, and age groups. Before we begin, let's define some vocabulary words and what they mean in the context of this activity. Authentic materials, such as old receipts, tickets, brochures, and notes that are lying around most people's homes or classrooms, help learners interact with the real world. They are also handy for teaching contexts that may not be well supplied with teaching materials. Task-based activities encourage students to focus on the meaning and function of language rather than specific forms. Stations are a distinct physical work area within a classroom that allows students to move around while materials stay in the same location. For the first part of this activity, create stations and put a varied text at each station, such as a map, brochure, or menu. Each class will have a different number of stations and groups, but aim for about 2 to 5 students per station. Print a worksheet like this and post it at each station. Have students write the answers in their notebooks. Questions 1 through 6 are the same for each station, and questions 7 and 8 are specific to the reading material. Have students move at their own paces through the stations. Near the conclusion of the class period, ask a few questions to the class, such as what skills they used during the activity and whether they enjoyed it. Hold a short class discussion about which materials were the most interesting or confusing. Finally, collect the worksheets and evaluate to identify common strengths and weaknesses to inform future activities.
Okay, so we can see in the video that the teacher is using materials such as menus, brochures, and a map. Okay, and students are in groups and they're collaborating. So this is task-based learning. Okay. Okay, before I continue, can we think of other methods of task-based learning? Can we think of more ways to incorporate this with students? Olive, yes?
There's this team building exercise as well. Team building.
Team building, yes, but we're thinking more of a specific, so what can they do in a team that is related to real world? Can you think of something?
They come together and do some creativity activities like drawing maps, like playing together and making sure that they have a task that everyone comes together and contributes.
Yes, exactly. So they all come together and do one task. Can you think of a task that they could do?
Yes,
together?
I could a task. So, for instance, they could give them a small building blocks to build to maybe create a house or build a house. So
Okay.
everybody an idea to come up, how would the house look like, and all of this, and they make them to have this exercise done in one block, not everybody doing theirs, but they build together.
Okay, yes, that's an example. That's a great example. Thank you so much. Yes, that's a great example. Perfect. You understood. Awesome. Okay.
Rules at this time. The rules, go ahead, make your comment or ask your question, please. The rules.
The rules, yeah.
Your microphone on your end is not on, the rules, or it's not connecting. On our end. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello? Oh, I think he didn't intend to.
Yes, probably.
To raise his hand. Okay, Shokyu, I'll let you talk again.
Yes, Professor, maybe you can bring, for example, you say in the classroom, the teacher can say, now we will take the letter, for example, A. And then you, for example, there is a paper with country, food, name, and for example, animal. So each group will do, but very fast. So they will think of a word very fast. So they can also do a sentence. And you ask the team which one is similar. And then you do for example, 5 rounds. So they can discuss after that. This is like a game.
Yeah, it's like a game, but it is more like a game rather than a task. So I think we're focusing more on projects here. It is more like a game, but I like that it is in groups. So and then that's the idea with task-based learning, is that they're supposed to collaborate. So in this example that you just gave me, that would require collaboration. So yeah, that's a good example. Thank you. Okay, great. So that was our last and final method. I'm going to compare all three now. So TPR, just to review, I'm going to review because I have a little quiz at the end to see who is listening. So, okay. So the first one is total physical response, language learned through movement, great for beginners and kids, fun, low stress, easy to implement. Natural approach, focus on understanding before speaking. It builds confidence in a relaxed setting. It works across all levels. So you need a lot of input and a lot of patience for the natural approach. So, and then the last one, which we just saw, task-based learning, learners use language to complete real tasks. Encourages fluency in real-world use, more for intermediate and advanced students. So movement, understanding before speaking, tasks. Those are the three we're looking at. Barrows, you raised your hand. I don't know if it's on accident or you can unmute if you would like to talk. Hello? Hi. I'm sorry, I can't, your connection is not very good.
unfortunately,
Your
the
microphone is, yeah.
Rose is not working, very unfortunately. You may proceed, Nunez.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to, those are the three methods. Okay, so we just saw. Okay, now we're going to do a short quiz. This is going to require you to use the chat. Okay, so we're going to spend about 10 minutes with doing this, and then 10 minutes I'm going to leave for questions at the end. Okay, so the first question. I'm going to give you a scenario and you're going to decide if you think it's a TPR, total physical response, natural, or task-based learning. So here's the first scenario. Okay. In an ESOL class, students are asked to plan a weekend trip in small groups. They must research destinations, decide on transportation, accommodation, and food, and then present their plan to the class. The teacher only supports with vocabulary when needed and does not directly instruct. What teaching method is being used? You can write your answer in the chat, A, B, or C.
Olive believes that this is A, the task-based learning.
I believe so.
Emanuela Sarre says B. For Steve Calpe, it's C. Dr. Sidney, A. Agostino, A, task-based learning. Paudi Scan, C. Pauline, B. Joseph, A. Stelio, A. Althea Monroe, A. There seems to be a confusion. Naturally, most participants believe it is A, but some have surprisingly chosen C and B.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing the chat right now. So the answer is definitely A.
A.
Okay. Why? Why is the answer A? The students, the key thing to look at here is that the students are in groups. They're planning a weekend trip. Okay. So they're assigned a task, and they're doing the task in a group. Okay. So related to a real life situation. That is a real life situation, planning a group. So this is definitely task-based learning. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to question 2. Okay, question 2. A teacher uses commands like stand up, touch your nose, and walk to the door while demonstrating the actions. Students respond by performing the actions without speaking at first. Later, they are encouraged to give the commands to their classmates. What teaching method is being used? You can write in the chat.
They've selected B. Agostino has total physical response TPR. Stelio TPR C. Olive believes it's B. Party Scan chose B.
Okay.
The variety of selection. It's C for Althea, for Doreen. It is a physical activity, brothers and sisters. Stand,
Yes,
touch your nose, walk to the door. Those are actual physical commands.
exactly, exactly. So exactly, thank you for saying that. So right, this has to be C, it has to be total physical response because we're using our body. We're using our physical body to complete tasks. Okay? So anything that requires movement is a TPR method. Okay? I'm going to move on to question 3 now. Okay. Okay, students work on a real life project where they have to create a brochure for a local tourist attraction. They use English to collect information, interview classmates, and design the brochure, then share it with the class. What teaching method is being used?
Doreen picked B. It's B also for Steve Calpi, for Joseph Piana. So now everybody seems to be on the same.
Okay, good. I hope so. I think this one was kind of clear, but
Yes.
yeah.
Everybody, Chanel, Pauline, everybody selected B.
Yes, it is B. It is indeed B. Yes.
Yes.
Creating a brochure. Okay. All right, let's move on to question 4. Okay. In the beginner ESL class, the teacher speaks slowly and uses visuals and gestures. The students listen for meaning and aren't expected to speak right away. The focus is on understanding and reducing learner anxiety. Eventually, students begin to speak when they feel ready.
So what is your choice, brothers and sisters, for this new scenario? It is A, Emmanuel, Doreen, Dr. Sydney, Janelle, Steve Calpi, Stelio. No, Stelio chose B. Janelle also selected B.
What?
C for Party Scan. It looks like our participants are a little confused about what we can do with the natural approach, the PPR, and the task-based.
I hope I was clear in my explanations.
You are
Okay,
very, very clear.
okay.
As a matter of fact, you came up with videos, clear illustrations. You've done a
Yeah.
superb job, Miss Nunes.
Thanks. Okay, so this is definitely the natural approach. Okay, the key thing to look at here is the students listen for meaning and aren't expected to speak right away. Okay, so with a natural response, the teacher is not expecting a participation immediately from the student. They aren't expecting an oral response from the students. With a natural approach, we don't want students to feel anxious. So everything with the natural approach is when they are ready. Okay. So you can think when you're ready, natural. So that's how you make the connection there. Okay. Last and final question. Okay, during a beginner class, students watch the teacher mime drinking, brushing teeth, and sleeping. They hear phrases like, I am drinking, I brush my teeth, and I go to sleep, and respond by performing the actions themselves without speaking initially. What teaching method is being used? This one is tricky, I have to say.
It is A for Joseph Piana, but Joseph Piana chose both A and C. Doreen goes for the B. TPR for Agostino. Pauli is selected C. What else? It's your time, brothers and sisters, to get involved. C for Emanuela Sarre. Thank you very much for your participation. Dr. Sydney has
Yes.
B. B also for Janelle. It's amazing.
Yes.
And that
Definitely natural approach. So you may think when you see this total physical response, because they perform the actions, but the key here is that they're not speaking initially. Okay, they're only performing the actions. So you could think, oh, they're doing it, so it's total physical response, but it's not, because they're not speaking initially. Okay. So yes, thank you for those that participated so much. I'm going to leave the last 10 minutes open for questions. I don't know if anyone has questions.